Well, folks, it's time for another reading from the September Ramblings magazine. I'm Chuck Graves, and I'm your host. And welcome to my bedroom again. The next story that I'm going to be reading from the magazine is the second part of Remembering Terry. Terry was my cousin, passed away of his own hand quite a while ago, actually, but people still remember him, and I'm going to tell you about him. Okay? Remembering Terry. Terry Dill was my cousin. He passed away while his children were still very young. This is the second in a continuing remembrance of him for his children and for myself. The next place I remembered Terry living was on Crystal Street in Windsor, Vermont. These were pre-teen years, and we were allowed to roam farther from home to play. The place I remember going most often during the summer while he lived there was to the baseball field. We used to walk down the long hill that went up to Crystal Street and then down the main road out of town to where the Little League field was. What I remember about the Little League field is that it was just like a real baseball field. Should be. In Massachusetts, where I grew up, the field we played on was actually a real field too, but except for some things that kept it from being as cool as Terry's field. One thing was that it was near a beach, so that the entire field was pretty sandy, even where the grass was. Being sandy like that, the pitcher's mound was actually a pitcher's dip. No one ever built up the mound, and so it became a hollow the pitcher stepped down into. Also, the fences being in the city and having to deal with the city kids were made of chain link. Terry's field had real grass in actual dirt. The base paths were made of good soft running dirt, great for sliding and such. The infield was raked and smooth, and the outfield was the same. Also, the fence was wooden and painted green. I loved it when we went down there to play. I don't remember ever going there playing a game with other boys. Maybe it was because I was always visiting during prime vacation time, and baseball wasn't something people were doing then. Actually, Terry and I would go there over and over, just shagging fly balls for each other and practicing fielding grounders and throwing to the plate. Whoever was batting would try to hit the ball past the other one at the shortstop and then drop the bat and pick up his glove real fast and take the throw home from the shortstop. Terry is much better at shortstop than I was, though. He could backhand hard grounders and come up throwing so fast that I hardly had time to get my glove on before the ball got there. I don't know if it was home field advantage or what. I know that our sandlot field in Massachusetts was not near as smooth, and the infield as Terry's Little League field. It was not near as smooth in the infield as Terry's Little League field was, and getting a grounder in the chops was way more likely to happen. So I might have been more apprehensive going after them than Terry was. Not that I'm making any excuses, you know. When we hit fly balls to each other, we never tried to hit the ball to each other. We always made each other run for it, either left or right, or we would hit short flies or try to hit it over each other's head. Both of us were real good at catching the ball on the run because of it, and because it was just the two of us, even as preteens. After a while, both Terry and I could throw the ball all the way from outfield to home plate on the fly, accurately too. Terry loved baseball. He excelled at it. That was who he was. If he liked doing something, he strove to be the best he could be at it. He worked hard. He practiced over and over. He studied himself and others. He learned all he could. Baseball was one of those things. Over the years, I learned that Terry's father was an umpire in the Little League. My understanding is that Terry and his father never had any kind of relationship. They never spoke. But Terry knew who his father was. He knew the umpire was his dad. Some people may have thought he excelled at baseball because of his dad being there. Maybe so. I do know he was hurt at times when his father called him out, and he didn't think he was. But he dealt. He dealt the only way a little boy can in that situation. Maybe his desire to sell at baseball just carried over into everything he liked, father or no father. Oh, come on. It became who he was. Sorry, took a long time. Had to turn the page. Terry and I would play baseball for hours in that field. Hot sunny days while other people were probably swimming, Terry and I would be shagging flies. I didn't mind. I liked it too. As you can see, we weren't always getting into trouble. I do remember once, however, walking back home after playing. On the main road was a house with a rail fence. As we walked along in front of the house, Terry took the bat and whacked one of the rails. The next thing you know, a rail about 3 sections down from the one he hit fell off the fence. Being used to being in trouble, all we thought of doing was running. So we did, scared and laughing the whole time. I don't know why we didn't just go put it back up. I guess because neither of us had ever fixed a fence before, and we had both been in trouble before. We did what we knew. In the winter, the favorite place to go from Crystal Street was a sliding place Terry called Sun Valley. We had to climb very steep Cow Hill to get to Sun Valley. I don't know if these were names Terry made up or that is what everyone called them, but that was how I knew them anyways. Cow Hill was, as I said, very steep. We didn't spend the day sliding on Cow Hill because it was so steep we would have been exhausted after about 3 trips. It was a good hill to slide on once on the way home. Sun Valley was much more rolling and a longer hill anyways. We would take Terry's toboggan and have a ball. Nope, didn't get into trouble sliding at Sun Valley either. Sorry, I do remember almost getting killed once. Does that help? As I said, Sun Valley was a very rolling hill there, and even though we never very often saw anyone else sliding there, I remember once starting down a hill on the toboggan and seeing another toboggan with 4 big guys, they were big to me anyways, coming right at us from another part of the same hill. The truth is that their toboggan went right over the back of our toboggan, missing me by inches. We kept going. They kept going. No harm, no foul. They didn't come over to see if we were okay, and we never went over to them. Terry and I talked about how close it was and realized how lucky we were, but that was the end of it. Back to Cow Hill, zoom real fast down Cow Hill, and then walk home for soup and sandwiches, taking turns pulling each other on the toboggan. So that's the second part of Terry. Got a little time here. It's getting a little close. I got another mom talk, but I think I'll hold off on it till next trip. Mom telling another story about things. Okay, so that's Terry number 2. Hope you liked it. Leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, please. Okay. Have a good day. So long from ramblings, and we'll see you next time.